Welcome to our webinar. It's nice to see so many of you here. So I'm Sandy Mays and I am a medium. I do clairvoyant, psychic and clairvoyant mediumistic readings for Illuminations online. And if you want a reading, you can book it through them. If you want to understand a little bit about it, you can book a 20-minute experiential with me and I will explain it.
Hiya, and I'm Mike Mays. I am a deep energy trance healer, also a medium, but for Illuminations I do deep energy delta healing. So you can have a look at it, book a little session with us free, or talk to Illuminations about a longer time. So yeah, really good. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to tell you that we've got cameras everywhere, so you know I can actually look at. I've got a nice little beautiful camera here, and I've got cameras here.
You've got a new camera.
So, I know, it's a new toy and it's wonderful. But what we're going to do is you can obviously put a few things in the chat box if you wish. I will try to get at that during this session as well, but if we don't worry. You can have the recording later, and we can answer any questions later on. We certainly at the end of it we'll be asking you questions anyway. If there's any questions, we can talk to you about that, and I'll go through the chat box at least then. So who do you think you are? But you've heard that said a few times. The journey of self-discovery, finding your true self. So
that's the title of our webinar. It sounds a bit complicated. Actually, it isn't. It's just about you. And a big part of the webinar is about you answering questions in your mind and with your feelings within yourself. So we're going to allow little pauses so you can actually digest things and process things and make the most of this. Finding yourself is not really how it works, because you're not really lost. Yourself is your true personality, your true feelings, but life gets in the way. Your true self is buried underneath various things. The roles you play in life, for example, and we're going to go into that in quite a bit of detail. Cultural conditioning, religious beliefs, where you live, other people's opinions, that's quite a big one. What will people think? Inaccurate conclusions you have come to through your life up to this point, which actually became your beliefs about who you are. So finding yourself is actually returning to yourself. It's an unlearning, an excavation, a remembering who you were before the world got its hands on you.
So let me ask you again, who do you think you are?
So when you're in your minds, when you answer that question, I wonder what you say. I wonder what your first internal answer was. So we have up on the screen here some things that Mike and I did, like somebody asked us that and we didn't know what we know. What would we be saying? So I might say, well, I'm a mother. I've got 2 children. That's really important.
And I might say, I'm a father. I've got 2 children. And that's quite important.
But I'm also a daughter. Parents brought me into this world.
And I'm a son. My parents brought me into this world.
I'm also a sister to my brother.
And I'm a brother to my brother and to my sisters.
He's one of 7, by the way.
Yes,
so
there's quite a few of them. So yes.
I'm also a niece to my aunts and uncles.
And I'm a nephew to mine.
And I'm his wife.
Oh. And I'm a husband.
We also have friends, so we have a friend role to play. Some of you will have the role of employee if you work for a company. So we don't work for a company, we are contracted, for example, through Illuminations, along with other people that we work with. So we are self-employed, if you like. But we have careers, and that has an effect on who we feel we are. So in my case, I learned to say a long time ago, I am a medium. It took me a while. I wasn't sure at the beginning, but there came a day when I actually believed it, and I said, I am a medium. But actually, that wasn't true. That's one of the roles I play.
Well, in my case, I'm a healer. So that's one of the roles I play, if you like. It's just a big role. It's just fantastic. It's just what we are, you know.
The thing is, each role we play brings with it its own responsibilities, its own expectations, its own influences, its own requirements. And if I sort of give you some examples, let's see if I pick one here. As a mother, my responsibility was to get my children to a point where they could comfortably walk their own paths. I'm not sure if I've quite done that yet, but I think I've done my best, but they keep sort of referring back to me, but that's all right. Their expectations of me vary according to their needs, actually. It just depends. Mike and I go to Australia, my daughter will say, oh, could you just go and pick me up from school? Could you do this? So that's my role for her. See how it goes. How much do I let that influence me? Well, it all depends what else I'm doing. But it is an influence. It's a sort of a distraction. And then there are requirements. So the requirements of our roles, as my role as a sister, his role as a brother. What about your role as a brother? What are your requirements there?
My requirements as a brother is, because we were brought up in a large family, it tends to be, you just do that, and you do that, and you do that, and we're expected to do different things, but actually it might not be me. So, you know, might not be the way I feel or want to do or what I want to do, but you're expected to do certain things. You're expected as a family member, if you like, to play a certain part, and that might not actually be my part, but it's sort of almost forced in a funny sort of way upon you. So
yeah, so my role as a medium, if I'm going to take that one, that's my career. It is that and a healer, but I'm mostly a medium. So what influences that? Well, there's a few things really. My clients, to a large extent, because when they sit with me, they have requirements, and I always ask them what they want, what they need. So then I am influenced by that. I am influenced by the responsibility of when I do a reading. I have a huge effect on people one way or another. I have to take that responsibly. I don't want people changing their lives just because I said. And again, in my case, I actually do bring the spirit world through, and I am influenced by spirit. I am influenced by my guides. So I hope you're beginning to get a sort of an idea of how this works. It's a bit complicated, but all underneath all of this, we have to find ourselves, which is what we're hoping to help you do.
Again, with the healing with me, there was two people today I spoke to. You know, you can change people's lives an awful lot by just what you say, how you feel, what you know, how you make them feel. You can just change so many people's lives. So we just want to give you a few examples here, I think. Okay, let's look at this. So
this is interesting. Well,
but who are you really? I know, I did this morning. Yeah, it's quite good. This, do you like it? It's very good. I did it this morning. But who are you really? Who is the most central character in your drama of life? Who is the most influential person in your life? Who is the...
Are you pinching my lines? Right. Who is the most important person in your life? Now that's a really important question. I want to give you a little bit. Oh, thank you. Oh, you have completely put me off here. Oh, yeah. So who is the most important person in your life? He's wrong, by the way. I want you to think about that quite carefully. Think about the first answer that came into your mind, the first answer you felt. Who is the most important person in your life? Now, if that answer wasn't myself, for all of you, then you were wrong. We are the center of our own lives. Our spirit, our energy comes into this world alone. We walk our life path alone, but we have certain people around us, influencing us, relating to us, making our lives fuller or detracting from them, or whatever other people do. But always, always remember, you are yourself. And when the end of our lives comes, we go out alone. We can't say to friends, oh, do you want to come with me? Because it's not an option. We go out alone.
So we came into this world alone, and we will go out alone. So when do you ever ask yourself,
what makes me feel good?
what can I do to help myself?
And we have a theory about the word self. It's far too important a word to be attached to another one. So we always write it separately. So my, one word, self, another word. Your, one word, self, another word. It's become sort of linked in with other people. But in actual fact, it's just about us.
So basically, how often do you ask yourself, how am I? Do it now. Ask yourself, how am I feeling physically? Just ask yourself. How am I feeling mentally? Ask yourself. How am I feeling emotionally? Okay. Those answers tell you how you are right now, at this minute, at this time. That's how you are. So if somebody asks you how you are, how are you, you know the answer.
By the way, it's not everybody would want to listen to the full extent of your answer, but for you yourselves, that is your answer. And to ask yourself that, how am I, on a regular basis, will give you a lot of insight into who you really are and how you really are. So just going back to what you've answered about how you're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally. So my next question to you all is, do you like those answers? Are you happy with them? So I'm just going to give you a little while to think about that. Are you happy with how you are at the moment?
Okay. Now
I'm sorry.
Go on.
It's just really important that you have this. And personally, I do this a lot because in my work as a medium, I need to know all these answers frequently. Because if I don't know how I feel, how on earth am I going to know how my clients feel? It's all going to get muddled up. But anyway, I deserve to ask myself those questions. I deserve to check in with myself. It's really useful, and the more you do it, the more you will realize.
So now ask yourself, yourself, you notice this comes in an awful lot. Who or what can change that? So who or what can change the way you're feeling? Yourself, you can do that. We often do, change how we're feeling. Others, definitely. Are you aware of those influences?
So supposing at the beginning of the day you asked yourself, how am I? Physically, mentally, emotionally. Say that was about 8 o'clock in the morning. And then you asked yourself again about lunchtime, the same questions. I very much doubt you'd have exactly the same answers, because things will have happened, things happen in life, and things affect us, things change us, people change us. A phone call, a message, a meeting, it all changes us. So by lunchtime, your answers would be the same. But are you aware of the influences that make the difference? How do we receive those influences? So here we have one of my favourite diagrams, which, yeah, some of this is to do with mediumship, to do with readings, but in actual fact, mediumship is life, life is mediumship, it's all the same, it's all about energy. So I'm assuming, and I am finding more and more, that people I speak to through Illuminations tend to be aware that they have an energy field. And that energy field is your spirit, is yourself. When your physical body dies, which it will, all of ours will, we can't stop that, our energy field, or our real self, our spirit, whatever you want to call it, will be released and will return to where it came. So we don't want to get too much into that, because that gets a bit involved, and that's not what we're here to do. But if you look at this diagram, you will see on the left, that sort of stick person is a human being, by the way, and it is sitting, he or she is sitting within their energy field, and that energy field is fastened to the physical body at 7 energy centers called chakras. I'm sure some of you have heard of those, but I'm not sure if you realize that behind each chakra lies a main nerve group of the body. So anything that comes in through the energy field will go in through your chakras, into your nervous system, up to your brain, and it will cause an impression. So I expect you're all familiar with that feeling you get when you first meet someone. You're introduced to somebody at a party, and the host or hostess says, oh, this is so-and-so, and I know you'll get on well with them, and then leaves you with them. Now, in my case, I would know quite quickly, subconsciously, I'm not sure about this person. I don't really want to talk to them too much. I'm not very comfortable with them. Or I might feel, actually, I could talk to you for such a long time. I just feel really comfortable in your energy. You might also walk into a place and think, like if you're house hunting, oh, this is lovely, I could live here. Or you might walk in and think, no, there's something here I don't like. But I don't know if you've ever questioned where those feelings, where that information comes from. And it comes through that blend of energy with the other person or the other place. Can my assistant please put a pointer in there?
I can't actually.
Can't you? Have you lost it? No, there it is. It's up there.
Oh, there he is. There's one. So yeah, there we go. This is the blend of energy, obviously, in between.
So that's when your energy meets another person's. So you would be picking up from that other person, from their energy, from their spirit, information, and it will carry into your energy, into your chakras, into your nervous system, up to your brain, and you've got that impression about that person. As this is something we all do it, but we don't think about it. So it is your subconscious psychic reading. And that is the influence of another person's energy on yours. So that's all fine, because we can sum people up like that. We can work out whether we're comfortable somewhere. But there are other influences that come from other energy fields. So supposing the person on the right, I've got slightly one. The person on the right is in a bad mood, an angry mood, and you started the morning off being perfectly happy, and you meet somebody who's in a bad mood. They don't tell you, but something changes how you feel. Just ask yourself, has that ever happened to me? Or do you arrange to meet a friend for a drink or a coffee? You feel perfectly fine when you go to meet them. An hour later, when you say bye, you think, why am I feeling like this? And they'll say, oh, I've so enjoyed being with you. I feel so much better for spending time with you. And you're thinking, well, I'm not sure the same is true of me. That's because either you have caught something, a germ from their energy, a germ of anger, a germ of impatience, a germ of unhappiness, and it's affected you, it's influenced you, infected you. Or they've drained your energy, they're energy vampires. and you go away exhausted because they have taken from your energy field. So this is what life is like. This is what we call the keyboard of life, our energy fields and all that system continually receiving transmissions from other people, continually being affected. So that's sort of the energy field, but there is something that's actually not on this diagram. We have senses, don't we? We have physical senses. We see, we hear, we touch, we smell things, we taste things, and our sixth sense, our intuition, we kind of know things. But all of that can affect us. Now, this isn't a workshop on that subject, so I can't go into in too much detail, but I'll just give you and I think Michael helped me with this, but I'll give you a quick resume of a couple of the senses. Let's take the eyes. When the alarm goes off in the morning or something wakes us, the first thing we do naturally is open our eyes. We may shut them again, we may pull the blankets, the duvet over our head, as we don't want to have the day start because we're still wanting to sleep. But nevertheless, the human instinct is waking up, we open our eyes and we see things. So very often the first thing we'll see, this is particularly in the UK, we'll see the weather. So for the last maybe 4 days, we've had amazing, beautiful weather. So we've been sat out in the garden quite a lot when we've had free time. It's just, I find that blue skies and sunshine uplift me through my eyes, through my sense of sight. I wake up in the morning, I see a blue sky and sunshine, I think, oh, great. And then I don't want to go back under the duvet. However, if I wake up and there's a grey sky and rain and it feels a bit cold, that's a different influence that my eyes have given me. So you're beginning to get the impression that your eyesight makes changes in who you are and how you are. So think about the difference between these two things your sight gives you. If you wake up and it's a beautiful sunrise, most people would think, oh, how lovely, that's just, I feel great. If you wake up, turn on the news, and there's really bad news about COVID or whatever else, that's going to take your energy down, it's going to take your feelings down, it's going to change how you are. But not many people pay attention to this, so I'd like to suggest that perhaps you could, in order to find yourself. So if you've done the exercise of how am I before you turn the news on, and you thought, oh, I'm good, it's a sunny day and whatever, and you turn the news on and it's something really depressing, and it changes you. You think, oh, I don't feel so good anymore. If you understand why, it gives you some control over your life. So do you want to talk about hearing?
Well, yeah, just one more about hearing. I mean, hearing's another big important effect that we have on our lives. I mean, your ears take in so much, a bit like your sight, so much information. It's bombarding us, in fact, from not only from news and everything like that, but also from, you know, and media and sort of stuff like that. But it's also from other people. People are always talking to us, basically. They're shouting at us, or they're being nice to us, or whatever they're doing. So we got all this noise coming in our ears. And also, I don't think we listen, really. I mean, we hear, but do we really listen? So you could be listening, or somebody's talking to you and your sort of like thoughts are out there somewhere. You're miles away. You're not even taking any notice of what this person's saying, really, until they say, did you know what I said? And then you think, I'm not sure now because I haven't been listening for the last half an hour. You know, it's a bit like that. It is really, and a lot of people say, I hear what you say. What does that mean? That means basically you're not listening at all. You're just agreeing with me or whatever it is. So we really need to listen. Again, if you train your ears to listen properly, it's surprising how much information you'll get. You can sit yourself down and just relax for a moment or two and just really listen to something. you might hear, I don't know, a clock ticking. And then all of a sudden, if you extend that hearing, the clock disappears and you hear a car outside. And then that sort of, you hear a few cars and that goes away. And then you hear, if you really extend it, you can hear a bird song up the road. Then you can hear somebody talking, probably a long way away. Because to be honest, we don't really listen properly. And it's surprising, we can probably hear for a couple of miles away if we really train ourselves to listen. So how fascinating would that be if we can really listen? That means we can understand. That means we can learn. That means we can see more clearly, even though it's hearing, if that makes sense, because our brain will interpret that into different videos, if you like, and it will just make you see as much as hear. So it's a wonderful thing, the hearing. Don't lose it.
No,
use it.
Use it.
Use it. Don't lose it.
That's a UK expression, by the way, I think. So just pay attention to what both of those senses are giving you. Don't just see things, look at them. Don't just hear things, really listen. But always notice what it's doing to you. Is it uplifting you or not? Now, I just want to say a little bit now about the difference between thinking and feeling, because we're using those two words quite a lot here. So I just want you in your minds now, if you could just ask yourself, what's the difference between what I feel and what I think? And actually, we might give them an opportunity to answer this. If anybody wants to answer this, just put your hand up. Can we get back to the screen with all those lovely people on? Can we see our lovely people?
Yep.
She's in control of this one. See our lovely people.
There we go. View.
All right, so if anybody would like to actually say what they think is the difference between their feelings and their thoughts, just use the reaction box.
I think you can unmute yourself.
I'm thinking of yours. Thinking is using the mind,
feeling is using the heart. Absolutely.
That's absolutely right. Has anybody else got anything to add to that?
Or you can you can unmute yourself.
Or we can unmute. Put your hand up. We haven't got lots of photos, have we? There's a reaction box, isn't there? Yeah, reaction box.
Yeah, if you do reaction box, and you can put a hand up if you want, or you can just wave your hands like that, and we'll go. Oi, there you are.
No,
you're right with that.
That's
just
okay.
The one chat at the moment. That's okay.
Absolutely fine. So thank you for that. So can I just see that one again? Can I see that box up again?
Thinking is using the mind, feeling is using the heart.
That's absolutely right. But we need to examine that bit about the mind more closely. Because our feelings are the truth. Our feelings come from our energy field. That's our chakras. That actually creates feelings within us, because the chakras rule everything. Now, our thoughts can influence that if we use them positively, but our thoughts are manufactured. They pop in our head, but we have to go with it. Our feelings we can't deny. We get a feeling, that's it. Our mind pops in and says, no, you're not feeling that. That can't be right. Oh, no. Our mind talks us out of things. But always remember, your feelings are the truth. They come from the heart of your spirit, from your energy. Your thoughts are manufactured. They are programmed. They are conditioned by your whole life up to this point in time. You just think about that, you'll realize it. Who programmed your thoughts? First of all, it was your parents, then it was your education, then your friends, then your career, people you met, expectations of people, your partner, your children. All of these things pull on you and influence how you think. So just remember, your feelings are the truth. Your thoughts are manufactured. That's a really good rule to go by. So we're sort of talking about people quite a lot. So yeah.
Let's think about the effects that people have in our lives, really. It's massive, isn't it, if you think about it? everybody has an effect on us. So infections, and that's what it is, having an effect. It is an infection almost. It's like people infect us. They don't mean to. I don't mean it in a horrible way, but they do. They have a big influence on our lives, and it's infectious. That's what it does to us. They also steal our energy to a point, or can do. Not always. They can do. We call them here energy thieves or vampire thieves. But vampires, really, but it's not quite like that. But they're energy thieves, and they don't always mean to. So, for example, again, you may go for a coffee with somebody, and again, they've had this massive effect on you, where they feel wonderful because they've spoken to you, and you feel like completely drained. So they've had this effect on you. So they've stolen it from you.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, if I stole £20 or however much it is in AU in your country from your wallet, I'm a thief. If I steal part of your energy, am I still not a thief? In fact, in a funny sort of way, I'm worse, because you can probably top up that £20, but I don't think you can top up your time or what I've stole from you, if that makes sense. So it's great. So choices. We have choices. Every one of us has a choice. We choose what we want to do. We choose our friends, or we should do. We choose our enemies. We can choose. Well, probably not. We can try. We can really take control of ourselves here, ourselves, because it's all about ourselves. This is what this is about. And we can choose who or what has this effect, this infection, this theft on our lives. So it's very important that you know you have the power to do this.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah, sure,
I know you've
absolutely.
got some more
No,
things to say in this section, but it's just reminded me of something. I grew up with a couple of people from the age of probably 5, and I still know them now, and they actually got married in the end. And I used to see a lot of them, and we met our children, they all got on well together, and there was a lot of interaction between the two families until I got into, I don't want to use this as spiritual, energetic work, healing, mediumship, and that was so important to me. But it makes some people uncomfortable, and every time I saw them, they didn't want to talk about it. Every time I started talking about my life, they would talk about theirs quite freely, but every time I started talking about my newfound interests and beliefs and what gave me joy, they changed the subject, and it became really uncomfortable until we got back onto their ground. So this went on, and in the end I just thought, I don't actually like being with these people anymore. So I made a clear choice not to visit them anymore, because they didn't make me feel good. I was totally drained by the time I left them. And I felt depressed by it, because I think this is my stuff. This is what I believe in. I respect their beliefs. Why can't they do the same to me? Couldn't work it out. So I just thought, actually, I choose not to be with them anymore. And I suppose I haven't really had a little bit of contact, but I haven't actually been with them for about 8 years probably. Sometimes I think it's sad. He had a big birthday recently, and I did make a video for him, but it was like reconnecting with something I had chosen not to be connected with anymore, because it didn't make me feel right. Because if we have our own beliefs and our own comfort zones, we are entitled to them, because they are part of our real self. And that was what the problem was with this relationship. My real self was not respected. So beware when your real self isn't respected. Ask yourself, this is interesting. Why am I doing this? If you've got a good reason, that's okay. But questioning is at the heart of all of this.
Absolutely right. And there's lots of other things that can influence this, like, for example, places in our lives. It's a difficult one, because sometimes it's not always easy, and we have to be in certain places, and for certain periods in our life we can't get out of it. So, for example, towns. You look at a town, I don't know what you call it in, but
they have a city.
I'm sure. Well, we'll go for towns and cities, if you like, together as one. They can be really uplifting, but they can also be really depressing. You know, I know in England, in London now, I haven't lived in London for 40 odd years, but in London, for me, it's dark, it's grey, it's sort of, the buildings are concrete metropolises or whatever. There's no real colour. So for me, it's very depressing. It makes me feel, I don't know, just not nice. It has a big effect on my energy. Look at shopping malls. I know you have big shopping malls out in Dubai. I haven't been there yet, but we will do. But even in England, the shopping malls, for us as sensitive people who try to look after ourselves, it's quite depressing. Because if you think about it, there may be 100,000 people or however many thousands of people in this shopping mall at any one time. So when you walk into this shopping mall as a sensitive person, you are going to pick up everybody's energy. A bit like we said earlier on, we showed you the difference between the two energies blending together. It's natural that you will pick up that. So it's natural that you will be infected by that. It's natural that somebody out of those people may steal your energy. Okay. Country for us is superb. We live in a part of England called Cornwall, and it's right down the southwest there, nearly towards Land's End, nearly off the edge of the map, if you like. For us, it's beautiful, it's green, it's almost like a world on its own. It's very peaceful, and you can look out throughout the whole 180 degrees basically, and all you're seeing is greenery. So it's nice. So that has a big effect on us. That's what we choose to do. Okay. And the ocean or the sea for us is just literally 2 minutes, 3 minutes away, whatever. And that's absolutely fantastic. So this has a big effect on us. So this is about, again, about your choices. I know sometimes we can't always help our choices, but we can make a difference, because we can actually say to ourselves, okay, I'd rather look at that, or I'd rather look at this. I don't really want to look at news today because it's a bit depressing. So why would I?
Do we really?
We don't. At the end of the day, it's not a lot I can do about it. So you're going to hear about things anyway. So why would I put my eyes and my ears to that? Why would I subject them to that? It doesn't make me feel good, so I'm not going to do it. And if that feels selfish to some people, you may feel it's selfish, but it's actually not. It's selfless, because you need to look after yourself. So this is what it's about, so putting yourself first. So let's look at information. Here's a big one here. So like mobile phones. I mean, I don't know, 25 years ago, it was like house bricks, weren't they? It was huge. Now it's amazing what they can do, and they are absolutely fantastic. And
they're attached to people's arms.
Yeah, and they're a great use, but also plague us. They're awful. The bombardment from mobile phones and all this, you know, in your ears and in your brain. It's just mad. Internet, it's exactly the same. You know, thank God for the internet, and what we're doing and seeing here and watching is wonderful. But this is a good side of the internet.
We've chosen to do it.
We've chosen to do it. As you chose to come here. That's the good side of the internet. There are some bad sides of the internet, which you don't want to go on the internet and searching this and doing that. So that's not good. TV and newspapers is exactly the same, really. It's just a bombardment of energy. You know?
Just struck me as you're talking about all of that, all of these things, these places, these influences, they actually steal our time with ourselves. So if you're watching a TV program, say you watch something for an hour, in that hour you are totally absorbed, hopefully if it's a good program, with that program. You have chosen to give an hour of your life experience to that. Be sure it's worth it. We need to spend our time like we spend our money, carefully. The difference is we can top up our money, we can't top up our time. But for ourselves, for the individuals, our time is very important, and our experience of our time is very important. We need to be a little bit discerning about what we allow to influence us. So if I'm absorbed in a TV program for an hour, I sort of, it's over and I come back and I think, oh, I come back to myself. I suddenly become aware of where I am, the room I'm sat in, who I'm sat next to, where the cat is, all of this stuff. But I've actually given up all that awareness for an hour. Now that can be a really good thing. It can lift me out of myself. But I always try and make choices about that, because I'm always thinking about what uplifts me, what depresses me, what makes me feel not so good. And I try, I'm not perfect, I don't succeed all the time, but I try to make choices to do things, to be affected by things that are uplifting, not depressing. Who uplifts me? Who depresses me? I've got choices. I've already mentioned one with those friends of mine that I don't associate with much anymore. They depress me. Some of our students in the UK, and I'm not excluding the students in Dubai, but we've known a lot of them physically here. We've actually been with them physically and they've followed us on Zoom. But we've known them for a long time and they really uplift us. And somebody interestingly at our Tuesday night class this week in the UK, he said he felt uplifted by the bringing together of all these people in this class. He enjoyed the energy of it. He enjoyed the process. He chooses to come back week after week. And this is a man who gave it all up for 3 years. He's just come back to us. He's made another choice. He's made it for himself. So this all comes back to feelings.
Your choices as well.
Your choices.
And don't forget as well, there's another one in our Tuesday class. Just to give you an example, it's his choice as a man who comes from Australia. So for us, our evening class starts on a 7 o'clock our time in the evening.
So it'll be 10 o'clock your time.
So 10 o'clock your time. This man gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning to come to our class. That's his choice, but he enjoys it. He gets something out of it. So he wants to do that, to see. So you can make these choices and you can, sometimes when we make choices, it means we have to give up something else. So that's how we need to do it. So it's okay. It's okay to do that. It's your choice.
Choices create our reality, don't they? And you want to say a bit about
do that.
About how we create our own future.
Well, we do.
Yeah. How do we do it?
So choices, we create our own reality. We create our own future by the choices we make. So choices you make today create your tomorrow. You all chose to come here today. You chose to come to listen to us. I think that's quite good, actually. I think that's very nice.
Let's hope that they themselves.
No, you chose to do this. It's your choice, and rightly or wrongly, it doesn't matter. There's no wrongs or rights about this. A lot of people make a choice, but the choice you made is the right choice at that time, and it's okay.
But keep checking in with yourselves. It might not the time. It might not be. Always ask yourself, how does this make me feel? And I have a little bit of a thing I do here. So if I have a decision to make between some options, I look at each option, I imagine myself taking that choice, and I say, right, would that make my heart sing or would it make my heart sink? How would I feel? And that's how I make decisions on how I think I would feel if I was doing that thing. Would my heart sink or sink? Easy when I do that, really. So Mike was talking about choices and creating our future with our choices. But the trouble with life is it moves so fast. So are we just swept along with the tide of life? You get up in the morning and you've got this to do, that to do, that to do. Somebody says, can you do that? Can you do that? We've had a day a bit like that today, haven't we? Really busy today. We've had to fit a lot of things in.
Thank you, Illuminations. It was very busy, but
but we've been swept along by it. We've absolutely had no breathing space at all. Actually, this is the best breathing space we've had, being with these lovely people.
So do you... Illuminations, thumbs up, thank you.
That must be too long.
Yeah, probably. No, I think it might be here.
Is it here?
So do you ever ask yourself, what shall I do today? I do today. What am I able to do today? What am I able to do today? What do I feel like doing today? I feel. Forget the rest of it. I feel.
And this is all about you, because actually the better we are ourselves, the more we can help other people. So you might have thought this is all very self-centered, what we're talking about, but actually when we're better as ourselves, the more we can help other people. And as mediums and healers, we know that really well. We cannot help any of you unless we sorted ourselves out first, unless we know how we are, unless we know how to make the right choices or try to make the right choices. And one of the choices I like to sort of make is, well, what fulfills me? And I had to make this choice. It came gradually, actually, some time ago, a long time ago. I was actually told my life purpose was to be a medium and a healer, in that order, or combination of the two. And at that time, I was a financial advisor, so nothing was further from my mind. I was busy out making money, driving nice cars and going on big holidays. I said, oh, I don't think so, but I kind of stored it away.
Wish I'd known you then.
Well, you didn't. So later, I had just things happened in my life, and I became influenced by more spiritual things, more realistic things, more worldly things. And gradually, I came to dabble around in mediumship and healing. And I thought, well, why do I feel better doing this? And I suddenly realized it was fulfillment, and this other thing that just made money didn't do it for me anymore. So when they asked me to make my business plan for the following year, I said, I can't do it, actually, I'm out of here. And I took the chance to embark on this, which does fulfill me. But I had to ask myself how it made me feel. Why do I feel different doing this? It's because I felt fulfilled and I felt happy. So a question you can keep asking yourselves if you've got choices to make: what makes me happy? Me the person, not me the mother, not even me the wife, but me the person, the real self. It's, you know, it's a good question you ask.
And I deserve to find myself and allow myself to be. I deserve that. Why shouldn't I?
And the way I look at it is, and you might think this is terribly big-headed, but anyway, I'm going to say it. I am the centre of my world. I am the principal player in the drama of my life. I'm right in the centre. No, the other one. No, you've got the right.
That's all right.
He's playing.
No, I'm not done. Don't worry about it. It's not even there.
So I am in the centre of my world. I'm like the centre of a wheel. If you imagine a wheel, an old-fashioned cartwheel, if you like, and all these spokes come out from the centre of the wheel. So I am the centre of my wheel, and spokes come out from me, reach out to other people. I'm always reaching out to other people, but I'm reaching out from me and my sense of self. It starts from me. Anything I do for anybody else, my children, my family, anything, it starts from me. If I'm not fulfilled, knowing myself, being aware, just being, I'm not going to help anybody else too well. I'm just going to career through life. Not so good.
Yes.
So you mindfulness.
Yeah, so just be mindful of all what we've said here. And some people call it meditation. We like to do a little bit of sitting and being so that we're mindful of what we got here. So just be, know that if you just sit and be for a little while and start to gather your own thoughts about how you want to be, what you want to do. It's not selfish, it's actually selfless, because you would help by being what you want to be, helps other people, because you need to look after yourself before other people. It's a bit like on an airplane when they say put your own oxygen mask on first, because you're no good to anyone else if you don't do that. So it's a bit like that. So it's not selfish, it's selfless. So look after yourself.
Yes, and actual meditation is, or sitting and being, is really important in life to get that little break where we are out in the outer outskirts of our energy a lot of the time, interacting with people. You do need to come back into the heart of you. If you find meditation difficult, if you contact Illuminations, I have an MP3 of a method I call sitting and being. It's a little bit simpler than meditation. If you want a copy, contact Illuminations. We can send you out that MP3.
So the result equals peace, oneness with self. So
that's what we want. We want to be at peace and at one with ourselves. And we have sort of prepared something here, which is the toolbox of life. And this slide that Mike's just put up, it kind of covers everything that you need to think about. I'm going to run through it in a slightly different way, but what he's showing on the screen, if you want that, contact Illuminations. We can send it out to you as a handout. But it's the toolbox of life. But it's really about, as you're about to discover yourself, that real person, how do you care for that person? Do you care for yourself? Some do, some don't. So some essential ingredients are free time, and we're very strict about that. We had yesterday was our free time for the week, completely doing what we wanted when we wanted. It's essential. Drink plenty of water. Make sure you eat nutritious, pure food. I mean, if you're a burgers and fries person like he is sometimes, it's fine, but then the rest of the time just try and give your body what it needs. Sleep, at least 8 hours. Every human being needs at least 8 hours. We had a prime minister called Maggie Thatcher, and she used to say, I only need 4 hours sleep. It's rubbish. It's no wonder she looks so fraught. It's just no way.
She was only 21 when she done
that. Fresh air. Leave your because it's different for you there. Here we sleep with our bedroom window wide open because we need fresh air. Exercise, a good walk or a swim every day. Take care of your eyes and your ears, get them tested, rest them. Don't always have earbuds in your ears with music blasting. Don't always be watching screens with pixels. It's not good all the time. Your sense of taste, don't eat too fast and make sure you sit down properly to eat, because your body needs to appreciate food. So meditation or some times of peace during the day, healing and self-healing, because we need to be mended, our energy needs to be mended. And yeah, healing's a funny word, but basically means to make better or make whole. And put your hands on yourself, you will feel that energy flow for you.
Right, so once you've rediscovered yourself, know that you have the ability to choose for yourself. You all have the talents and abilities you need for this life, the journey of yours. Because there's a little thing on the bottom of this here, that says the choices you make today create your future. Which is absolutely right, because tomorrow was today yesterday.
Think about
if
that
you can
one.
think about that one.
So tomorrow was today yesterday.
So
it's a really interesting
that's how
thought.
that goes. So you can have that if you need that anytime.
All right, so you can ask Illuminations for the handout. You can ask Illuminations for the MP3. We do have a script, a rough script. I'll tell you it's very rough, but if anybody wants a copy of that just as a memory jogger with all our little notes on it, we're happy to part with that. If that helps you. So, this is all about helping you find yourself.
Got a little while now for some questions if you'd like to answer. If you've got a hand up or a chat box, or if you want me to unmute you, we can. Wave your hand and
go on, unmute them all. Let's have fun.
I'm not sure if I'm going to
unmute them all, but I'll try. Have you got the power?
Oh, probably. Not really. It's that one. Unmute. But you can do it yourselves or ask to be unmuted.
So you check the chat box. Has anybody here got any questions at all? And do remember that a question asked and answered is a lesson for everybody. So don't think, oh, I can't ask that. I bet you if you do, somebody else will think, oh, I wish I'd asked that. I was going to ask that. So, you know, it's okay to ask questions. That's how we discover. So, okay, what's the chat box saying?
We got one in here.
What have we got in the chat box?
We got I'm thinking, oh, that's the one.
Well, we had that one
yeah,
before.
Yeah, okay, that's right.
Okay, so nothing new in the chat box. So has anybody?
Jackie looks like
Jackie's going to ask something? No.
she's thinking.
She's just thinking. That's okay. She's processing.
That's all right. You can process, Jackie. Anyone else want to ask any questions?
No. All right. So if you don't, can we assume